I'm Willis Otieno, advocate of the High Court of Kenya, running mate to Jimmi Wanjigi, deputy party leader of Safina Party of Kenya. Safi sana na Wanjigi, the slogan of our party.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Kisumu. I was born in Kisumu, what is known as Russia Hospital.
Yeah.
That is the colloquial name. The official name today is called Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Referral and Teaching Hospital, JOTRH. I grew up in Kisumu in an estate called Nyalenda Railways. My father was a railway worker, so seeing trains and bogies was our first time. I went to school in Kibuye Mixed Primary School. It's right in the middle of Kisumu City, in Kisumu Central Constituency. That's where I did my entire primary education. Then I went to school in Malira Boys High School in Game Constituency. From high school, I went to Moi University to study my undergraduate LLB program. Then I joined the Kenya School of Law in 2008, and I did my master's in law from the University of Nairobi, which I concluded in 2015. I'm now a legal practitioner working at Otieno Gold and Company Advocates. By and large, what you refer to as a people's defender. I do what is largely called public law. Public law in the sense that it's all about putting public administrators or public bodies to account and ensuring that in their governance they adhere to the constitution and they practice good governance practices in their work. So I'm largely a public law defender in my legal practice. I'm also a political player now, as I've said, and I paired up with Jimmi Wanjigi. We ran together for president in 2022, but unfortunately, those who are the powers that be didn't want to see the name Jimmi Wanjigi on the ballot, and they concocted all manner of excuses to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
But ni ya Mungu.
How will you describe your childhood?
My childhood was the average Kenyan childhood from a low middle class family. Grew up, we walked barefoot in Kisumu. We would go to a place in Kisumu called Milimani. Milimani was the wealthy suburbs of Kisumu. And I remember we would always go there to steal mangoes. And they were not ripe mangoes. Mangoes from mango trees. There were many mango trees that time in Kisumu, especially in Milimani.
Yeah.
So we were young boys and we would always go to steal mangoes from Muindi homes and fight with their dogs over the fence, throw stones, the dogs would bark. Many a times we would go to Lake Victoria to have our swim. And that was an experience that when you are doing it, it was a risk and a danger, a very big danger. Because Lake Victoria had hippos, or has hippos even to date, crocodiles. So we would sneak from the estate to go and engage in these boyhood escapades. And woe unto you, if any of our fathers saw any, and we'll walk as a huge group, between 15 to 30 young boys, walking, that's a troop, walking from the estate to Lake Victoria. That's a distance of almost 5 kilometers away, and we are barely 10 years old, and we are crossing the busy Kisumu-Nairobi road to to go to the lake. So if any of our parents saw any of us or saw the troop, we will be rest assured that evening there was going to be a massacre in all our homes. So my childhood was the typical Kenyan childhood, naughtiness here and there, but brought up in what I call a regiment of discipline. My dad was a disciplinarian by excellence, and whenever corporal punishment had to be meted, it was him. But no being the naughty me. Sometimes we learned, and he will send you to go and get the cane. You go and get your own cane, utachapwa nayo. So the naughty me at some point, because I was
The naughtiest.
The naughtiest, and I received the highest number of caning. So when I will be sent to get my cane, I will get a long cane, but create joints, break it a little, because also it will cane you until
it breaks into pieces.
So I'll create different joints so that first hit, second hit, the whole cane has broken. Then now it ends there. So that was it. But my mother, I don't remember any given time my mother ever meting corporal punishment on me.
Were you your mother's favorite?
No, mother. I know mothers and their boys have their own way of relating.
Yeah.
But she was also very firm. The worst punishment she will give you to deny you dinner. But then she will wake up in the middle of the night to give you the dinner that you will be denied. So for a young boy growing up, hunger, food, a young boy and food are the best friends. So she knew that if I don't give you dinner tonight because of your naughtiness, you will feel the pain more. But then she'll wake up even
in the middle of the night,
midnight or 1 a.m. And give you a very good portion of food because you've learned your lesson. So that was it in in primary school. Then now in high school, the typical high school vibe. That time now I was staying in CII in Alego, but going to a boarding school in Game. So we live typically in a village. You go herd cows during the holidays, play around with the local boys. What I didn't do was to go to Disco Matanga.
Why?
Because that one again, I told you, Disco Matanga, that was off. That was off limits. I told you I grew up in a military barrack. Our home, my father's colloquial name, his nickname that we gave him when we were young was Kali. From the word Serikali. Serikal Kali. He was a disciplinarian by excellence. And so I missed that part of Disco Matanga.
Yeah.
In my old age, I tried going to Disco Matanga, but I couldn't fit in, so I walked out.
I think for the after this interview, once it happens in my village, I will tell you.
No, I don't think I'll fit in. It's a different experience. When we were told about Disco Matanga in the villages, the type of Disco Matanga that they will have will be where even to dance with a lady.
Yeah.
People will bid. So these ladies from town or from high school, based on where you come from. You're from a town, you're in high school, you're in upper primary. So people bid, and when I ask what are the bidding prices to dance with a lady, I'm told the bidding prices are 5 shillings. The highest bidder has bid 10 bob. Somebody has bid 2 shillings. I know those coins are moi. So people will bid and they dance into the night. But I didn't have that experience. I did not have the privilege or the honor to join my villagers in a Disco Matanga. So that part I missed, and maybe in my next life I'll be a Disco Matanga DJ or a dancer.
No way. How many siblings did you have?
We are 6 in our family, 4 boys and 2 girls. Yeah, they are spread between Kisumu and Nairobi.
Okay.
Yes, doing different things.
Yeah. Growing up, did you always want to be a lawyer, or how did it come out?
My friends will tell you that whenever I was the worst person to tell a story. Because you come with a story, I will question you. I will ask questions and keep asking questions to fully understand the story. So they'll tell me, it was a story. Why are you questioning me? You turned me now into a witness. So maybe my nature was the inquisitive nature of a child. I took it too far. And that sits very well with somebody who is in litigation, who does courtroom practice. Because it's about getting to the bottom of everything. It's about questioning. Always ask the next question until you fully understand all the dimensions of an issue.
Yeah.
So I believe growing up, law was my primary interest. My secondary interest when I was in high school was to be a journalist. And what thrilled me was the investigative writers. Again, still, you're seeing I'm just tied to questioning, trying to get to the bottom of a matter. I was thrilled with the investigative writers, John Kamau, who I could read. They write Sunday Nation. I remember there was another one called Kamau Ngotho. Remember him very well. who would do a piece on, pick on a particular issue, and very long piece in the Sunday Nation. So that was my second interest. My third interest, if I didn't achieve any of the first two, I would have been a teacher, and a teacher of English. I had a passion, especially in English literature. And I loved teaching. There's a time after high school that I doubled as a board of management teacher. And I was teaching English literature. And just seeing kids transform when you start engaging with them. A kid comes to school when they're very shy, and you can't tell their personality. But through the learning process, you start seeing somebody evolving from a closed kid to a very robust, outward kid who is bold and is able to express himself. So I loved that part of my life. That was in the year 2001, before I joined university in 2022.
Yeah.
So those three. I cannot be a doctor even if it kills me. I cannot save a life.
Why?
I freak when I see somebody in pain. I don't like seeing anybody in pain. So it really affects me.
When you say that you freak out when you see someone in pain, has it also shaped your way, like how you see things happening in the society?
Of course. I'm deeply empathetic. And for me, when someone is in pain, why I freak out, for example, in medical emergencies, is that the inability to help, that I cannot do anything about it. My inner call is, the desire is for me to come out and provide assistance to that person who is in need. So it has shaped my approach to things in life, because even the kind of intervention that I do in the society, I've told you my passion is public law. It's all about asking government, putting them to account. And why I do it is because at the end of the day, who bears the brunt of bad governance? It's the poor people. It's the vulnerable man on the street. You drive across this country. No, I'll tell you, people think Kenya is a developing country. Kenya is one big slum. We all live in squalor. But because you drive to Madare, you go to Babadogo, you go to Pipeline, you even go to our rural areas, go to Kenol, go to Maragua, go to Mvita, go to Bamburi, go to Likoni. You see the kind of lives people are living. And yet, these are people who are paying tax. It's their money that you see some people trying to live a large life. Somebody is buying a shoe worth 2 million Kenya shillings. And yet, you go to leave the ferry in Mombasa at Likoni, you will find a group of hawkers. So all they're looking for at the end of the day is just to make 200 Kenya shillings, part of the hard labor, which the county government taxes part of it, and the national government indirectly also taxes these people. That really affects me, and I believe that we need to change how we live as a people. This desire to accumulate wealth for yourself at all costs, including by stealing poor people's money, because it's poor people's money. When you're buying a 2 million shoe, that's not your money. That is poor people's money that you're using, because there's no industry you build. And even if you build an industry, what is your pricing model? Is it one that is fair, or is one that is just trying to fleece the poor people out of their little coins that they've earned? So it affects me a lot. And I believe that we need to have a different conversation in this country. It should be a conversation that is more informed by the need to change and transform the lives of our people in a meaningful way. People need to live a life of dignity. I said this country is one big slum, and that is a statement that I stand by. Because you not tell me that maybe you live in Karen, or you live in Kilimani or Lavington, or live in Mudaiga, and you think you are removed. No. Look at the kind of roads you are driving in. Along those roads, the quality of life of the people who are walking along those roads, or walking along those roads. Everybody. And so what joy is it to you that you are driving in a vehicle bought by stolen funds? Then there's right outside the road, their car, by the roadside, you find an 8-year-old child who is hawking njugu karanga because he's not able to go to school and he has nothing to eat.
Yeah.
So he has to go and borrow somebody's njugu karanga to go and sell by the road to make at the end of the day even 300 Kenya shillings to feed their family. Some of those kids, you follow them. I've had occasion to follow some of them way back into the slums where they live. And you find one case, you find the mother was sick. This boy didn't go to school that day because the mother is sick, there's no medicine. A younger brother who needs to eat, and there's nothing. So he said, I have to come and try to sell. Kenyans are good people generally. The majority Kenyans are very good people. And he was telling me they survive by the goodwill of philanthropists, people who somebody just buys the njugu karanga, even if it was 50 bob or 100 bob. Somebody decides to pay 500, 300. That's what they call money. But even that child does not believe that this is my life, that I'm reduced to selling my njugu karanga. He's hoping that one day the system or the society should give them an opportunity to also make a meaningful contribution to the growth of this nation and to live a life that God desires all of us to live, a life of dignity. Yes.
From an entrepreneurship point of view, I know we shall come back to that part of politics. How has been it for you as a lawyer, starting your own law firm up to this point where you are today?
I opened my law firm in 2011. At the time, I was working for an NGO. After being admitted as an advocate, I worked for NGOs, 3 NGOs. One of them was ICJ Kenya. Then I worked at Transparency International. Then I worked at ASA. For that, now I opened my own legal practice. And I can tell you that the growth of Otieno Gola has largely been informed by what I call social networks. People whom I've met over time at different points in my life, who when I opened my practice, they were able to either give me files or to refer people to hold me. When I started the firm, my friends laugh at me to date. My office used to be at the back of my car. I had a Lexus Harrier, and the back seat was full of files. So I'll get a new file and keep it there. Get a new file. And that time I was still maintaining a manual diary. So you look at your manual diary, which court am I going to today? Naivasha, okay. You have another matter in Nairobi, okay. So you balance everything in the evening in the back of my car. But of course I bought a car because I was working with the organizations I worked for. The salary was well paying. But now moving into what you're calling entrepreneurship, it was not easy because you must start thinking of saving costs. How can you deliver on your business idea in the least expensive way? So for me, I didn't believe that I was going to invest, for example, my savings at that time into having a big office, because I didn't know. You don't know where you're going to get clients from. You know, law, as opposed to other businesses, you're not allowed to advertise. Yeah, you cannot advertise your legal services. A lawyer is not a hawker. So you cannot advertise. You are restricted by your professional rules not to advertise. So largely you get clients by word of mouth and referral. Old contacts, people you've met, and people have come in my life at different times. And I can tell you ultimately, some of them even at some of the cases I was doing it for free. Yeah, just do for somebody. Somebody has a genuine case and they just need legal representation. And so you take it up and you do it for free. And I'll tell you that over time, there are people, and I always mention them. They came into my life at different points, and even what we were doing was they were not even paying me for it. But ultimately, those pro bono cases and the clients who referred them to me are the ones who even brought the most high-paying businesses in my practice. So I'm not driven by a desire to make money. I'm driven by a desire to serve. You know, in law you say, money follow you. Don't follow money. Money is like a beautiful girl. Don't show a beautiful girl that you want her so much. You'll be desperate.
That's a punchline.
If you don't show interest in the beautiful girl, she will follow you. She will say, this is the kind of man I can make. So that's how money is. And that is what I always tell even my pupils. When you come into legal service, it should not be about money. It should be about serving the people. Then money will follow you. But as an entrepreneur, I know when I was finished high school, I was in the village. I had business skills. I used to go to Uganda, sent by my mother to buy maize. So we'll go to Uganda, we buy maize and come to sell in Siaya. That time, when the price of maize, Kenya was a bit higher, so you go deep in Uganda, you buy maize, you bring it to Kenya. So I would have been a businessman. I was doing very well in my business. I remember I bought my first motorized machine. It was a motorbike, a bicycle, with my own money, savings from my business. I even, when I was going to university, my first basic startups, the things that I needed to set up myself, they are savings from my business. Because I would buy maize and sell. During harvest season, I will also buy maize from people. That time, gorogoro was 20 shillings. So you buy, the money I've made, I will buy many gorogoros. Then during the non-harvest period, the prices go up. It could even go as high as even 50 shillings for 1 kg. So you can imagine if I bought it at 20, I'm selling at 50. That's a profit margin of 30 shillings per 2 kg tin of maize. So I was very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
I would also, there were teachers. There was girls' boarding school in my village. So I would also go and buy vegetables deep in the village, buy charcoal deep in the village and bring to the center and make a cut. Maybe I bought vegetables at 50 shillings. I'm coming to sell to you at 200.
You're such a businessman.
I was business oriented. In fact, I'll say, maybe that's what I should have said before, that if it was not for formal education, I had an eye for business.
Yeah.
And that was, and also I like the satisfaction that a customer leaves you with when you're done. But now my life is all about the law and the people.
Yeah.
It's not about profits anymore.
What has been the lowest moment in your legal practice?
The lowest moment in my legal practice, I can say, was some of the cases that I've done. And in particular, there's one case that I was doing in last year. This was a case, not the
Piki
petition,
Piki
not that
Ponki.
one. No, that was the highest moment of
That
one of
was
the,
the follow-up
this
question.
case, I was doing it was about Wafula Chebukati having not obeyed the Supreme Court decision of 2017, and we had gone for contempt of court against him. Then the judge decided that we should file that case before the Supreme Court, not before the High Court, even though the laws allow the High Court to deal with contempt proceedings. But then decides to condemn my client to pay costs. And then what made me, that is still part of legal practice, but what made me sad was one of the parties whose benefit, it should have been in their interest to see a fair election, decided to collect costs against my client. And he's a politician, I don't name him for today. So he wanted to go and collect legal costs from my clients. I was asking them, he's not doing it for himself. This is a public interest case. Why do you want to profit from it? If anything, you are the beneficiary of this, what this guy was doing, direct beneficiary. Even though the people of Kenya will benefit, but you are direct beneficiary. What makes you think that this is a time to collect money? Another low point in my legal career that I need to mention was a case I was doing for a young girl in Kisii. I'll call her JMM. She had died from post-abortion related complications as a result of government withdrawing provision of medical service. She was a young girl, not even a teenage. She was barely 15. And she had been defiled. She got pregnant. Went to a backward clinic to try to terminate. Complications arose. She was denied healthcare services. And so we met and we were doing the case for her. And fortunately is that when we finished the hearings of the case, she died before the judgment was issued. And the High Court 5-judge bench issued a very good judgment in her favor. So JMM never lived to, and she was even awarded damages, didn't live to enjoy the damages which the court had awarded her. So that is one case that I wish the system totally failed that lady, because he's a child victim of defilement, goes to a health facility, they cannot provide post-abortion care services. The matter escalates to Tenwek, they cannot. By the time she got to Kenyatta, her kidneys were failing. So, unfortunately, she's just but one child, but represents the challenges that many young girls and women are facing across the entire country in terms of post-abortion care services and access to reproductive health care services across the country. And so for me, I would say that is one case that I would say the lowest point when I felt really sad. In fact, I almost cried in court when the judgment was read in favor of JMM, and JMM was not there to hear for herself what had transpired.
Piki Piki Ponki.
Pakamielo disco.
Was that the highest moment of your career?
No. That was the highlight. I would call it the highlight of my career. I've had very high moments of my career. But that is what you call the highlight. Because it showed you that I practice law with joy. I'm a very happy man.
Yeah.
I don't... in fact, even when the judgment was read, I was not sad. I was very happy. Because for me, I was addressing two audiences. I was addressing the judge and the people. If the people followed my legal arguments in court, and they crystallized it with a take-home of Piki Piki Ponki. So the people have understood that they had a representative speaking for them inside the courtroom. So I was very happy. So I can't tell you which one single case.
But for this particular case, did it have any impact on your legal career?
Of course, even my social life. Right now, even if you move around, you go to a public space and there's too much attention. People just want to know, everybody wants understanding of where did this come from, and your arguments in court, what happened. So it's a turning point, I would say, a turning point in terms of now there are more people who got to know me, who wants to relate with me, who wants to participate in my legal practice. Which is okay, because I will say sometimes, because the things that I was doing in this case is not anybody who has followed me in legal practice. I'm very passionate whenever I'm doing public interest cases, extremely passionate. I bring my sweat game. Every case that I remember the sweat. I bring my sweat game in every public. I argue with every nerve in my body. I give it my all when I argue a case. But this one was different just because I had a larger audience.
Yes.
Everybody
was following it.
Many people are following, people are streaming it, all the media houses are streaming it live. And so that is why, for most Kenyans, this was their point of discovery. But those who've known me before will tell you that they are not surprised that Willis always brings his A game to every case that he argues. And more so, when it's a case about the people. Me, I always say, my cases, I look at to whose benefit. Is it for the people? Because me, I believe our call in life is to serve the people. I'm not here to serve myself. One day I will go, but the people will always be there. They'll always be the people.
Did you always have that interest to join politics?
To an extent, when I was in campus, I was a radical student leader. At some point, I was even suspended from the university for 1 year. So even my classmates, if you look at our admission numbers, those who we went to admitted with, they were admitted before me, 1 year before me. But those are what we call the vagaries of life. So we are here, we are where we are. But it was because of student activism. I was a very radical student activist. And I would call the university administration to task. So I didn't believe that I was going to join politics. But then after some point, I think the political bag dissipated. I felt like maybe I should just cut a niche in legal practice and use law as a tool for social transformation. That was my primary focus. But then they say, if it is your calling, even Jonah, God sent Jonah to Nineveh, and Jonah decided to take a boat to another location. God sent a whale, it caused a shipwreck, and sent a whale to swallow Jonah. And Jonah found himself in Nineveh, Jonah of the Bible. So even me, when I thought law was going to be my new escape route to practice law, maybe it is God who sent Wanjigi to take me back to where I belong, which is whatever you're trying to achieve by using the law, social transformation.
Most people actually viewed it as it was like a surprise move when Wanjigi announced you as his running mate.
Yes, but we have known each other. We've known each other for more than 5 years at the time. And
where did you guys meet?
We met in 2017 during the Raila campaign. He's introduced me to Raila to be his campaign manager. And ideologically, the things I speak, even what it means to how to run this country in terms of the economy, and the way Wanjigi speaks, he can start speaking and I can pick it from where we can even interspeak each other, and it will be a flow, in sync.
Yeah.
We are ideologically fully aligned. We are ideological soulmates, so to speak. So he's a natural, I believe I was a natural pick for him. And our destiny was that we'll end up being together in terms of when we offer ourselves to lead the nation. So we are where we are now. And we believe we still have a chance in the next election. So the next election is going to be about the economy. We will ask all the leading candidates to tell the people of Kenya what is their blueprint for economic transformation of this nation. And I can assure you, none of them has a blueprint that can best what Jimmi Wanjigi has. He's the only person who understands our economy. He's the only person who is able to dissect the problem and proffer a workable solution that will move us from where we are today of economic pain to economic prosperity. He is the real Mwai Kibaki, so to speak, because Mwai Kibaki also believed in supply-side economics, not demand-side economics. Azimio, Kenya Kwanza, Uhuru Kenyatta, they practice demand-side economics, not supply-side. And we believe that is the biggest difference in this country. Whoever is going to continue with the demand-side economics, it will be more pain to Kenyans. The team that will adopt and implement the supply side of economics, that's the team that will win and will change this country economically.
When you speak about the demand and supply, and even before we go that, let's talk about the cabinet reshuffle that has happened. In your own view, what's your take?
I saw a meme of two exhausters.
No, don't go there.
No, I just said I saw a meme. I saw a meme of two exhausters. Little said about that, the better.
Yeah. For those who never saw the meme, you can explain to them.
So there are two exhauster lorries. These are that carry sewage, removing sewage from this side to this side. Because the cabinet works as a collective platform. There's what we call the collective responsibility. So that if this cabinet has been unable to deliver in the first 1 year, what business is it to remove somebody from point A to point B? I mean, what will they change? If they have a problem on point A, there will be a problem also in point B. You are better off removing all of them, right? Or removing the ones that you feel are not able to deliver on your mandate. So there will be no change at all in the litmus paper. The problems that Kenyans are facing, which appointment can you say today is going to be
the best performing CS has I think it's a C minus.
A C minus. I gave them a D minus collectively. D for dog. And there's nothing they are going to do. You see, what do you say is that the fundamentals, if the fundamentals are wrong, there's nothing you're going to do. Because these people, they focus more on PR. They focus on tactics. What is for today? What is the photo opportunity of today? Yeah? They behave like our young slave queens. Yeah? They want a photo op. Yeah? But you are dealing with people's lives here. You are dealing with the future of a nation. It can't be about photos. Did you ever see Kibaki taking photos? Actually launching projects everywhere.
Actually, he was one of those presidents you will rarely see.
You'll rarely see him. In fact, he will go to Harambee House, do his work, and go back to State House. Right? But you felt the impact of the things that are happening. But this one is always about, let's take a photo here today. Let's launch this today. That's the problem.
Okay, we were talking earlier on before we started the interview, we were doing a comparison between Ruto's government and Kibaki's government. Where Kibaki was for the pro-supplies, let's open the economy, let people do business. For Ruto's regime, it's more of, let's tax more. And in the process, the economy is more shrinking, people are not spending, and everything is now becoming more restricted.
You see, Ruto is practicing demand-side economics. And Ruto thinks that government will grow richer by collecting more money from the people and then doling out projects all over. Kibaki understood that the economies change by adopting what is called supply-side economics. And in supply-side, what you do is that you identify a sector. And in that sector, the growth trajectory should be private sector driven. The private individuals that should drive it. So what is the government barrier to the growth of this particular sector? You remove that barrier, government barrier, then allow that sector to grow. So that, for example, when Kibaki decided to do away with, to open, liberalize the airways, that time the government had decided frequencies are limited. We're only giving KBC, and then the other FM stations are limited to a particular geographical reach. Your Metro FM or your Nation FM, you can't broadcast beyond Nairobi and its environs. But Kibaki says, why? What is the problem? If you license Ekegusi to go and broadcast in Gusi language in Kisii and target the people, the villager at the very bottom, to listen to broadcast in their language. So what he did was this. He gave the private side, he removed a government barrier that was stopping manufacturers from reaching a market. Now you're a manufacturer, you now want to advertise your product. You've been allowed to reach the bottommost part of Kisii to advertise, because now you have a platform. So they will advertise in Kisii, and now more and more people will buy the goods. So they have a larger market reach. This manufacturer will be making more sales, right? As he's making more sales, government is making more money. But Ruto will look at that manufacturer and say, oh, how much do you make this year? I want to tax you this much. You are not coming up with intervention to boost his business. So Kibaki was boosting people's businesses indirectly, without even people knowing that government had intervened. Kibaki was not borrowing from the domestic market. He was restricting borrowing from the domestic market. So the interest rates were lower. So the private individual is able to access credit facilities at a cheaper rate. Today, Ruto is borrowing a lot in the domestic market. In fact, the largest borrower of the domestic market. Government is borrowing money, short-term bonds, at 15% interest rate. When a private individual goes to the same market to borrow, the bank will tell you that it will give you a loan at 24%. That immediately is a non-performing loan, NPL. Because no one will afford that kind of interest rate of 24%. Because government has now pushed us out of domestic market borrowing. So how will this economy grow? Who will invest money? Because many people cannot access capital. You only accept capital from those who have it. The banks that are holding it, the pension funds, the insurance companies, the SACCOs. But if interest rates are prohibitive, people will not access. That's why you are seeing what is called a stagflation in this country today. Stagflation to mean we have a recession and inflation at the same time. There is no growth. Which sector can you say today is growing in our country? There is no sector that is growing. And government cannot be the driver. Government should never be the driver of economic growth. Government can only be a facilitator. But economic growth should be driven by the people. Should be private sector driven. So allow people access to cheap credit facilities, then using their own invention, apply their innovative minds. They come up with business modules, business ideas, and they're able to access credit facilities to fund them. So that if, for example, I wanted to do fish farming in Lake Victoria, right? I need 100 million Kenya shillings. With 100 million Kenya shillings, I go to the bank today, they give me a loan, interest rate of 24%. They are killing me even before I start. Mm-hmm. But if the interest rate is 5% or 8%, you can put up the fish farm. Government will make more money from me because I'm going to employ some people there. They'll spend in that economy. I'll pay their pay-as-you-earn tax. Government will be earning without doing anything. Mm-hmm. So government has not done anything. Government is a partner in a business which has not done anything. It has just allowed me to access credit facilities at a cheaper rate. So big difference. You cannot compare Kibaki and Ruto. Mm-hmm. Ideologically, they are totally unaligned.
When we compare the tax regime for the former president Uhuru Kenyatta and the current president, when you look at the statistics, you realize that what the treasury is collecting is far less as compared to what Uhuru used to collect.
You see, if you look at, that's a very good comparative. Look at the National Treasury. They normally release the revenue estimates per month. When they released the estimates for last month, for the months of July and August, the National Treasury in July collected 157 billion. In August, they collected 152 billion. Uhuru was averaging 170 billion per month. Now, with increased VAT from 8% to 16%, with increase in pay-as-you-earn, for those who are earning above 100,000 from 30% to 35%, with all those taxation measures that the Kenya Kwanza administration has come up with, we are seeing them collecting less. Why? Economists have an explanation. It's called the Laffer curve. We have reached the Laffer curve in economics, which means you've taxed people where you've reached a point of no return. You cannot tax them anymore. The cow is now dry. So your revenue, the taxation will just keep going down. And that is one thing that Kenya Kwanza doesn't seem to understand. They don't understand what are the innovative ways in which you can raise more money. They think it's by raiding your pocket. There's nothing in that pocket. Government should be encouraging something to be in that pocket. Then you are the one who will proactively send it to government. Because you have money in your pocket. Who doesn't want to pay tax?
No one.
Everybody loves to pay tax because they belong to the body politic of the nation. Mm-hmm. But when there's nothing in the pocket, you'll even come and look, you'll find nothing. Mm-hmm. There is no economic activity that is taking place in this country. There is no growth taking place. Yeah? Employers nowadays are just looking at which new tax is being introduced to manufacturers. Then by the number of taxes you've increased, they reduce the workforce. You decide you are going to deal with the cost of living by importing refined edible oils. Fine.
Which end up it's actually more expensive.
It is more expensive. Then what have you done? The edible oil sector alone in Kenya, the Bidcos, the Pwani Oils, many guys, as a group they pay 50 billion shillings to Kenya government per year. Right?
Yes.
These people import crude palm oil, they refine it. Oil is the main product. The byproduct is soap. Right?
Yes.
They employ people. They are paying you pay as you earn. They pay import duty when they import this crude palm oil. Now, a government that decides you are going to import refined palm oil, you've done two things, and you're importing it duty free. Mm-hmm. Now, you're not going to earn money from duty. What you're earning, number one. Number two, you are leading to job losses in these companies. Yeah. These companies that were employing all these workers, they now have no access to any market because you are bringing from a foreign country refined crude oil. Refined palm oil. So there, you'll see people laying off workers. Your own revenue as pay as you earn will go down. Consumption by workers who are employed in the factories goes down.
Do you think this government is concerned?
I don't think they care. I don't think they care. Because if they cared, these are common sense issues. Why is it common sense not common to them?
Do you think this government has a problem with its policies, or they just wake up and then...
What is the vision? I've been struggling to find the vision of this government. What is their vision?
Well, a better way to ask this question. Do you think President Ruto was ready to run this government?
I don't think he was fully ready. Maybe he spent too much time campaigning, but didn't spend enough time to understand the job for Ruto was step. Maybe.
How will you rate his performance
D-
for the past 1 year?
D-.
Why?
Because he turned up for the job. Others have given him an E. He's turned up for the job. At least he appears. You can see him. There's somebody occupying the space.
But D- is that low.
No. He's turned up for the job. At least he's there.
We can see we have a president.
Yes. And he's trying.
When you compare his local performance and international performance,
he's doing very well internationally, extremely well internationally. But a president of a country is not elected to represent foreign interests. He's elected to represent national interests. Kenyans, not foreigners. So that excellent performance should be seen also locally. That excellent performance that he's doing on the global stage, it should be felt here. It should be about us.
What should the Kenya Kwanza do now that we are already in this space? And if the president fails, we are all gonna fail.
Me, I can tell you one thing. Kenyans should brace themselves. There's nothing these people will ever do that will change the trajectory. The downward trajectory we are going through, which will just, me, I've psychologically prepared myself for more pain. Because you cannot tell what is the vision that is driving this particular administration. And with all due respect to them, it's not even that they want to cause us pain, just they don't get it. They just don't get it. So you may wish that things will change, but then you must accept your reality. Your reality is, Kenya Kwanza speaks from both ends of the mouth. Nothing positive comes out of them. In fact, I always tell my friends nowadays, if government says this, prepare for the opposite. If they promise you this, plan with the opposite. Just know it's the opposite that will happen.
Yeah.
So take their promises as the opposite. Dollar will come down to 115, 120.
Yeah.
Please, dollar is going up. Can we people organize ourselves? See, it is 150 now.
And if actually nowadays it's very hard to get a dollar.
Yeah. In fact, if you go to your bank, they don't take.
Yeah. Some banks even don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What's your take on the National Dialogue Committee that was being held at Bomas? Will it lower the cost of living?
Waste of time, in my view. There's genuine desire to participate from the Azimio side, but if you look at the public statements from Kenya Kwanza, and even now the snippets of what we saw,
between
the altercation between Omar and the former vice president, you can tell you that Azimio is genuine, the other side is not genuine. So, in my view, it's not a genuine conversation. One side is genuine, one side is not genuine. So, the end result of it is waste of time.
So, you've already lost another 100 million.
Yeah, but those are peanuts. Our problem is debt. Don't look at government expenditure. Those are peanuts.
But debt...
Focus on this debt, this age, because I'm telling you, the largest outflow in your budget is called debt finance. So if you start chasing travel expense, 100 million for by partisan.
Because you saw that circular by the...
That is not, even that of foreign, those are nothing. The problem here is debt. You're talking of trillions, my friend. Trillions. How much do ministers spend in their foreign travels? They can't even get to 50 billion. But here you're talking about trillions in debt. If you dealt with the debt issue, the country gets a breather. And you're able to deal with, you see now change in the economic growth in this country. That is the problem. The problem, even if today we say no minister leaves the country, let no minister leave this country for 1 year, I assure you, if you don't deal with the debt, those ministers will be the country will be stoning them. People will leave here. The pain is now too much even in your presence. It's nothing to do with expenses. It's about the debt. That should be the focus of everybody in this country. Out of every 100 Kenya shillings you are collecting, 83 shillings goes to debt finance as per the control of budget. 83. You are left with 17. Now you want to argue how you are spending the 17. That is what you are doing. That you spend the 17 on BBI, bipartisan, you spend the 17 on ministers traveling with their girlfriends. Who cares? That's not a problem. The 17 is nothing. It is this 83. That is where the focus should be. And you get it right on that 83, then maybe you're able to save another, if it is odious debt, for example, maybe you'll end up saving an extra 60 shillings. You reduce your debt portfolio now, out of every 100 you are paying 23. You have another 60 shillings to spend as a government. You get a breather. You now don't need to increase VAT on fuel. In fact, you'll take it out. Why? Because you want to spur consumption of fuel and drive the economy. And now you'll collect more money. But now you have to increase VAT on fuel, even they'll move it from 16 to 18% soon. Just wait.
But also when you look at the fuel consumption, it has really gone down.
Gone down, yeah.
The lowest.
Laffer curve. I told you Laffer curve. You reached the Laffer curve.
Now the issue about this debt, how should the president
do an audit of that debt? 3 things. Do an audit of that debt. Find out if it is legal. Which one is legal? Which one is odious? Right. If there are illegal debts in our books, why should we pay for it? Because under our laws, you only borrow money for development. And before you borrow any money, Parliament must approve. If there's any debt in our debt books that was taken without parliamentary approval, that should be an odious debt. You say this is illegal debt, we are not paying it. And if you don't pay it, you remove it from the debt books. So we start reducing this ratio. Right?
Yes.
Because the bulk of that debt, actually, I can tell you, is illegal debt. Taken without approval of Parliament and not used for any project in this country, which is dangerous. Somebody maybe borrowed money from abroad and used it in our names, but we took the responsibility to pay that debt. That's what is happening here. That's what I'm saying. We need to put our eyes on that debt, not on girlfriends being flown to Dubai. Those ones can fly for all they care. They'll come back here anyway.
And spend the money.
Yeah. It's just, Dubai ticket is how much? 200,000. They'll come back here. Here is talking of trillions, my friend. Talking of, our debt is at 10 trillion. 10 trillion is our debt today. 10.2 trillion, 25 trillion. Do an audit of that debt to find out what is legal, what is illegal. You may find that we actually have a surplus. We've overpaid our debt.
And that was what Jimmy was saying.
Yes. We've done our audit. That's what I'm saying. Go there. We've done our audit. If you take our laws, we've overpaid our debt. We are debt free.
Do you think the current president is willing to take that route?
I don't think he has not done it.
Is he willing?
I don't think. If he was willing, he would have done it. There is nobody who's having sleepless nights by there about this debt than him. He's the one who's having sleepless nights about it more than me. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's the one in charge. So the problem is right before his door. If he was willing, he would have dealt with it. He's not willing. Otherwise, he would have dealt with it. Okay?
There was an issue of, do you think Raila is advancing his own political objectives, or he's also fighting for the local manage?
I think it's both. Yeah, it's both. It's a confluence of both. He has his personal interests, and normally I understand Raila anchors his politics on pro-people issue. And I think that is for the first time when he was not fully pro-people. 2022, when he was seen more as an incumbent. You saw him struggling during the campaigns. But his policy is about pro people. It's about the people, not about it. That's my reading of Baba. Yeah. He's always a pro people politician. Where are the people in this? What are the people saying? So in between, then you can pursue his personal interests. When
he was actually invited
when
to
UDA was doing their national delegates congress.
Yes, right.
They invited Safina Party and Jimmi Wanjigi. We attended as a political party, and Jimmy was very clear with his speech. He said he is not there to support William Ruto. We are competitors. But civility in politics does not mean enmity. That if I'm invited to a national delegates congress of my rival, that I can fail to attend, I will attend. But I must make it clear, it does not mean an endorsement. Have you seen Jimmy with Ruto?
No.
Since after the elections?
No.
Have you seen Safina Party member join government in any shape or form? So we are not. Even Ruto, we invited him to a delegates congress, he attended. But that is what we call civil politics.
But he had other interests
he
attended.
No, there was no other interest. It's just civility. It is civility. Who said that you cannot, you want to say if Manchester United are holding their delegates meeting, they cannot invite Man City members to attend as observers?
But
No, I'm asking you. They can't.
They can.
Yes, that doesn't mean that when they go to the field.
But you see, in Kenyan politics, people read a lot.
No. That was a delegate. That's why it was done publicly. If you had seen us somewhere private meeting, then you can say maybe you are negotiating. We went straight to the meeting and left. We don't belong to any formation. We are not in Azimio. We are not in Kenya Kwanza. We are the independent economic team that believes in supply-side economics. In fact, it's so far much easier for Azimio to join Kenya Kwanza than Safina to join Kenya Kwanza.
Because of the ideology.
Because of the ideological. Look at, for example, Mudavadi. By November last year but one, Mudavadi was in Azimio, so to speak. He was like in Ababa and Uhuru, right? Then he just jumped, switched.
Yeah.
Kingi, Mutua, Wetangula, all of them. They find it so easier to go. I mean, they can crisscross. Those are brothers. They can crisscross each other's homes. As we are the ones who cannot.
So, what plans as Safina Party do you have?
Safina Party, we are going to have a national conversation with the people of Kenya on the economy, which we believe the people are embracing as the key point that should drive our politics. And Kenyans will not listen to promises anymore. Kenyans want to see a tangible plan, a team that understands what the challenges are and has solutions to the problems of our economy. And we do believe that Safina Party with Jimmi Wanjigi, we are the party that understands the economic pain of Kenyans and has a clear solution that will lead to a greater transformation of our economy. And that is the kind of talk that we want to have with Kenyans. And so far I can tell you many Kenyans are reaching out to us. Kenyans are encouraging us to keep pushing this message. They're actually saying we seem to be the only campaign that is making sense in the political platform today.
We have seen other political parties, including UDA, that are now already preparing for 2027. What plan? Are you putting in structures in place so that by that time your camp is ready?
The Kenyan people are talking about the economy. We've branded ourselves as the economy party. What else do we need to do? People vote ideas. People don't vote party structures. People vote ideas. We've branded ourselves as the ideas party. So we've told you what our idea is. That's what we've already built our campaign platform. That's Safina. That's we finished. Then is when they're doing it. By doing delegates meeting, doing grassroots election. As we've done, we've sold what the idea is. It's the economy. James Carville used to say, it's the economy, stupid. That is how George Bush won. Lost the 92 elections in America.
Sawa.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate.
Thank you very much for having me.
Asante.
Thank you.